want to welcome everyone to today's working session of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This meeting is being taped as usual for playback later on YouTube or WRPS. The items on the agenda are those elected by the commission. Those other items may be brought up to the extent permissible by law. That'll take a motion to open meeting.
Motion open the meeting.
Second. All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Chucky is a yes. The only thing I really want to go over today is the smoke testing. As everyone knows, we approved a contract with, I believe you have
I
it.
got it, yeah, thank you.
We approved a smoke test from Wright Pierce. We're waiting on a possible donation from the base. Things broke down around the 13th of June, which is last we heard, and we felt, as it states in there, I think, I'm gonna give you guys time to read that. Here, Jack, you're an open session.
I didn't bring my
Okay, the
glasses.
bottom line, we felt it was an open, and we wanted to run a parallel course just in case funding or what have you fell through. By manipulating projects, the budgets, what have you. Middle of June, we came up with that money. The Weston Sampson quote, although a little more expensive, we had $30,000 left over from the year 3 investigation, and we all felt that we were getting a more comprehensive testing with more data in line of what we need to satisfy the order. Monday, the 12th, as I said, the base reached out to Allison with a contract. It was after the fact. We took the vote the 8th, that contract came in the 12th, agreeing to do the testing by Tetra Tech and subcontractors. I had a conversation with Bob Galvin the Friday after that and with Courtney. Bob felt, was this Thursday or Friday? Bob felt, was it Friday?
I think it's
Friday.
Thursday or Friday.
That the base wouldn't go along with that. So I said, well, I'll write the letter to Tony. I tried contacting Tony at 7 o'clock that morning. He must have either been sleeping or in the shower. He didn't return my call. I tried in the afternoon. I finally, around 3 o'clock, I think, I got a text from him saying he's meeting with the team or something on Monday or whatever. I was thinking very hard about it. And again, this is just my opinion, all right? We've always done this together, so I want to hear your opinions on this. I think we all concur that the smoke testing is a good idea. I think to get the donation from the base is a phenomenal idea to help us with the cost. But the bottom line to me is, one, I think it's letting the fox watch the chicken coop in a sense, when you let the developer do their own work, and here's why I'm gonna say that. You lose control. Data can be skewed. Not that they would do it deliberately, but data can be skewed. We have an I&I control plan that we've been following meticulously, and we're seeing results. To me, if they want to donate the $80,000, they want the smoke test. It should not matter who does the smoke test. Would I relish that donation? Absolutely. If they don't donate, then my mind would be saying, okay, why are they not donating? What were they going to do? I'm not saying they would. Tetra Tech is a very reputable firm. They have done this in the past. My benefit that I see to us is that they're having subcontractors do it for them, but we're having an engineering firm doing it who knows our system intimately. That eliminates a lot of questions. The other thing is Weston Sampson has already created a private hotline for residents to communicate with. They also were going to meet with my biggest concern, in all honesty, that wasn't in either scope. I've always had this concern is, and I think it's only one nursing home we have in town, that nursing home.
2.
If they should see smoke, I don't know the second one. What was the
So
second
Webster
one?
Street.
That's one I'm
And
talking
the other
about.
one off of North Ave,
North Ave,
in the woods. It's a
Oh, that, I know the one in the woods, that's rehab, I never
Yeah.
thought of that. I never thought of
Then you
that.
had a couple other ones.
All right, well, the reason I'm saying is they start seeing smoke, that's gonna allow seniors or whatever really freaking out. And Weston Sampson was gonna have a one-on meeting in there. The reason I asked you in here today was to, and I want Courtney to speak on it before we take a reassurance vote, is whether we want to rescind our vote to Weston Sampson. Ethically, I have a problem with that. We gave our word, we signed a contract. I'm going to speak solely as an engineer, okay? I think it would be risky to allow the base to do it, and I am not accusing, but saying, say there was some unscrupulous methods going on. They need the data for their project to work. I don't know if the data's gonna skew, I don't know if they will pick up on everything. Would they? They might. One thing is missing is the drone. Part of smoke testing is we're gonna be going up on higher roofs, flat roofs. So are there leaks and vents up there we don't see that they can't see from the street, which is why I like the idea of the drone. And I think we stay the course. I think we've got a proven track record. And again, it's continuity with the EPA. I'm saying, okay, you know what? They have faith in us and they're verifying all our data. They know we're going through one firm. We're not flip-flopping if we don't like something. I think we stay the course. But the other thing is the precedence. What does this say? We have a future large developer. And again, this is the way we want it to go, that if we had a surplus of I&I, we could say, he wants to come in and find 30,000 gallons. Okay, we've identified the sources. Now you go and investigate and remove them. Now remember, just because we've identified it, think of what goes into this. You can identify it like on the SSES studies and the metering studies, but then you're going to follow up going in to confirm that with the cameras and visual inspections, and that's when you get your potential estimated real results, and hopefully you can gain, with infiltration, you can gain 20% of that. Inflow is going to be a much larger hitter. It's going to be a long-term return on investment though. The reason, as I say, it's a long-term investment, you can identify it with the smoke. Now the smoke is very nebulous. The smoke, if you have a pipe going here and that smoke, we have a leak in that sewer, and you happen to have a smoke in a drain line that's nearby, it's going to permeate into that drain line, which is a good thing because you're pointing out a drain. Mm-hmm. It could also get into water fountains. When you do a smoke test, realize it's going to be in all private property. 95% of it's going to be private property. The stuff that's on municipal property, you know, being a town, we could probably buy some time on that. You know, say we've got to look for grants or what have you. But if you identify it on private property, the EPA is going to absolutely say, okay, you've identified it, what's in place? And you have to give these people fair warning if you're not good. If you have, let's say for example, the E.T. Wright building or the Sandpaper building, which I'm sure I'm going to find drains connected to the drain line, roof drains. They have to hire an engineer. Number one, it's an older building, so they're going to be replumbing their roof. They're going to have to hire an engineer to do that, permitting. Then they got to go out and get quotes for excavation on the street. And they're actually, they got to do design work. That's going to be an expensive proposition for buildings such as that. The same thing is that block that's for sale up where Peterson's and Mike's Pizza is, when that goes up for sale. I can almost guarantee you those roof drains are connected. I'm going to stick my neck out, and I think anything from the banner up into the library, and I wouldn't exclude Holy Family, is connected to the storm drains. Because remember, when we took down the Jefferson School, every one of those roof drains were connected to the sewer.
To the sewer drain, right?
We found when they were up in the school, that's another thing, if you jot down on the old school in the ball field for discussion. when they constructed the new school, they found a 10-inch drain pipe in Elford that was connected to sewer, a ton of water. They removed that pipe, well, all that water is coming up into the field, which it should have, and it flooded our manhole, which led into something else. But I think I have I wrote Doug, Rich Penny letter, I think I have a solution to that. I'm not sure they saw the end of it. If you want to write down the pressure, refer to the pressure test. I think that's a solution to that, and I think the solution's already in place. So, but I lost my train of thought. But again, do I think that developers using funds to find I&I for us a good thing? Once we have the I&I identified and we can give them, and then we can go in and verify it, I think that's good. I think that's the way we should go. Right now, I don't think we're in that position. This is the first time the sewer department in a long time has been below 3 million gallons a day on an average. Right now, we're at 2.73. That's going to climb.
Well, it's gonna climb tonight.
It's going to climb through the winter, but I don't think it's going to climb over 3.
I hope we don't get the rain.
I
that
think
Connecticut got.
I think what we're seeing is the results of the moratorium, the results of the I&I work we've done, and the results of the repair work we've stayed on top of. Now, the biggest risk we have in front of us with going this route with Weston Sampson is that pipe on Hingham
Main
Street.
Street.
Okay? Now, I left that up to you to make sure you make me comfortable with Weston Sampson that we can delay that. Now, Courtney, I don't know if you saw the meeting, but our I&I work in year 3 identified the sewer main on Hingham Street, which is our key line, is going like this. It's oblong. It's going to eventually just go whoosh. So we were going to do that, but that project was going to run us over $850,000 combined with some I&I work. So what we've opted to do is do the engineering and design work this fiscal year. This is where I need you to jump.
That's correct. We start that now in this fiscal year.
And then do design and repairs.
And then the repairs would
year.
follow through in the next fiscal year. By straddling that leaves us with funding in the I&I for any emergency repairs.
Right, and that's what I'm worried about, that emergency fund. If that pipe should give, we have a contingency we can hit onto. But if we can delay it, we don't tap into anything, we're still in the black.
Mhm.
And I think the smoke test is gonna be a big hit. And just remember, no matter who does the smoke test, so, Tom, Dick, and Harry does it, before we can see any viable results, it's gonna be a minimum of 3 years. But I think the way it's planned, we go into immediate confirmatory sampling this spring. Maybe if we're getting through with that and we're getting close to the new budget, we take that and do the confirmation sampling on the smoke testing. There is your dye testing and other testing. And now the residents and the buildings are knowing it's coming. They're going to be notified that they're a potential source. They can at least get the ball going. So hopefully we take that lead time down to maybe not FY26, but FY27. We've got ourselves, 800,000 gallons identified that we can go after. And the beauty of the inflow. Whereas if you identify I&I, by the time you get down to the nitty infiltration, you're lucky if you yield. We've seen it. We're lucky if we yield 20%. Lucky. We just recently did 4 zones that had approximately close to 500,000. 73,000 maybe able to come out. It's nothing. We're not gaining anything. And if we're going to have big hitters, like say the base of Project X down in your neighborhood comes through, we're going to need the capacity to meet that. And this is going to be the fastest way we can get that. So I think we sacrifice now with the future in mind. So I need you to take over at this point.
Yeah, may I chime in actually? Thank you for having me here today.
No, I think it's important.
Yeah, I think it's important that we continue to all kind of work together on some of these bigger issues, particularly I think around inflow and infiltration. Inflow is like the biggest hitter for us, and based on like what I've seen in the reports and what I've read and what I've listened to, it seems like that's kind of the next or kind of like the highest priority that we should be focusing on as a town
Well,
and
just
as
so
a
you know,
commission.
when you go on, that was planned for next year.
Yeah, right.
We're just not seeing the results.
Right.
But the EPA wanted something now, and that was the fastest thing to go over where we knew the leaks.
Yep.
But it's just not yielding, so
Yep.
I'm sorry, but that's.
No, that's all right. And I've been trying to do kind of like my own research to understand this problem a little bit more and the dynamics of it. You know, in my role and my capacity, I do speak with development teams, and one of the development teams that I have been talking to is New England Development and their development team, and obviously they're concerned about infrastructure. I did have a chance, Chuck, we didn't chat about this, but I talked to the development team very briefly, like right before I got here, to see like what their thoughts were on based on your letter to them. They've indicated to me that they're still committed to helping with the inflow investigation work, and that they're going to continue to work with Attorney Galvin and Attorney Sullivan to kind of iron out the details, but that, you know, based on kind of what they've said, I would actually recommend that you do stay the course and continue to work with Weston and Sampson on this, because I actually don't think that it matters to them who does the engineering
And that's
work.
why I was thinking over the weekend, I
Yeah.
agree.
Like,
Well,
I
they
think
need
that,
they need that for their filings, and they'll get it.
yeah, and they actually, I don't think that they really care who does the work around smoke
That's what I was,
testing.
that's what I was trying to get through to Galvin.
Yeah, I don't think that they're, my interpretation is that I don't think that it matters to them whether it's Tetra Tech or Weston and Sampson. They're both credible, very
Absolutely.
reputable engineering firms that have done a lot of work around this area. You know, it would actually be better for Weston and Sampson to do this work. But I think that their initial pause was around the price differential between the scope of work that was originally proposed by Weston and Sampson versus the new price proposal, and so I think that was initially why they had engaged.
Okay, but let me
Tetra
tell you
Tech.
what happened.
That's
with that.
all.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
No, but that's
so
where I think that's where things broke down.
I'm just delivering.
No,
the
and I'm
message.
agree with you. What
Yeah.
happened, and I think I made you guys aware of it, that initially we had something like $300,000
Yeah.
on the table, because it was the base wanted to do smoke and dye testing, and
Okay.
we did not have anywhere near the money to kick into that. So we had morphed down and said, and I think it was me that brought it up and said, okay, why don't we just do the smoke and dye testing? And Weston Sampson and Tony were gonna continue that, and it was still getting pricey. I say, okay, drop the dye, we could do that in the confirmation. And that's where we ended up, and that's where I had that other thought, and I sat back and, so you were gonna say, okay, well, who's gonna own what we find? And I wanted to make sure Rockland retains control of that, so we've gotta shut that off. Mistakenly, I brought an attorney into it. I love Bob, but once you bring an attorney on, it just confuses shit. So I said, okay, I'll leave it between Weston Sampson for the and Tony for the engineering. Bob can work out something in writing that we get that, and we'll go on merry way, and I'll wait to hear from you guys. And that's where I dropped the ball. I should have been on them every day instead of just saying, have you heard? Have you heard? Have you heard? I should have picked up the phone myself and brought them back to the table. I didn't. That was me. I dropped the ball on that. But
And I think it doesn't, like, I hear you, but it doesn't matter. I think the reality is, like, I think that the base is still committed to helping Rockland, and they still do want to see us fix some of these bigger infrastructure challenges. It's in their best interest also at the end of the day to help us with these solutions and to help support these solutions. So I don't think that
I
they're...
mean, that help is huge. And
Yeah,
I'm sure
and
they're
I-
helping in other areas in town we're not aware of. We're narrow-minded in the sewer.
Yep.
They gotta be working
But
on
I
water
think
and
that their
too.
biggest, based on my conversations, their biggest concern is around inflow. So
Oh, it is.
as long as,
No.
like, I think as long as that's the focus of the work, then I think that it's likely that we'll get their support financially. But, you know, I'm just delivering a
No, and I
very
appreciate
brief
it.
message that I was able to kind of get
And this is
some
where I
work on.
think you
They're
will be,
still talking
this is where I
internally.
think you'll be a huge help on if you did that, just to keep them pushing. everyone knew from the get-go that inflow is your bigger hitter.
Yeah.
That's your more, you get the biggest bang
You
for your
get-
buck.
yeah.
It's a longer return, but we had to show something to the EPA, so we designed our I&I control plan. Prior to this board, you're supposed to be doing these investigations a minimum every 5 years. That's what they did in the past, they never stayed up with it. We've been doing, I think, 2 every year to find more and more. We've got this town broken into 5. We can tell you right off the bat where all the inflow and infiltration is right now.
The inflow, yeah,
Right.
Yes.
which I
What
think
we
is.
don't
So
know
now-
is
The
now is
distinction,
where the
yeah.
infiltration is, but that's the bigger return, and we gotta come up with a game plan on that. And that, I don't know, let's see, that's not expense to us. This inflow is
Right.
not going after sump pumps. This is not sump pumps right now, they're small potatoes, we're going for the tied into the drainage, but it will morph into a sub pump
Yeah, it'll be
program.
both, right?
Yeah.
It will be both kind of, it will be
This
all of
mo-
it, correct?
If you
That's
have an
how I've
illegal,
understood
it's not
it.
a small, let me tell you where it breaks down in sump pumps. Some pumps you either have a legal connection or an illegal connection.
Right,
If you have an illegal connection,
it is your responsibility.
it's a 50-50 chance you'll be picked up on smoke. People will freak, and that's why I wanted to have an in-face public meeting
Mhm.
with them, and I'm gonna say, no, we are not going after your smoke testing. The way you sell it is say, if you see smoke in your cellar and you got it, and you have an illegal smoke pump, sump pump, I don't care right now. What I do care about is you have a methane leak into your home.
Yeah.
That's what the smoke will indicate. But we now know where those sump pumps are.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Chuck, can I just chime in
Sure.
on one other thing? I think that, I love the idea actually of like a public education, public awareness type of campaign. And I think that that's where like myself and Allison and like our team can be helpful in supplementing this type of work, because we can help
Yeah, you can
to
put that
give-
together.
to give like some tools to residents for kind of rectifying it on their own if they so choose, or we can explore options for how we might help them to take that offline. Like we do have some limited amount left from our ARPA funds that
Yeah,
are
don't you have to spend that
dedicated.
this year?
They have to be committed. So
You
like
can't-
if we set up a grant and like type of grant amnesty program of some sort, we'd have to have parameters around this to some degree.
Run
But
with it.
like, we could, I think you all and us, we should all discuss like how we might supplement what is going to be done by Weston and Sampson, because whether that's through an education campaign or whether that's like a grant program, but I think, finding a way for us to like continue to support
One
the
right now
inflow
they do, they have a
investigation work,
3-page brochure,
it's
but it's
big.
only on the smoke testing.
right.
And it does have a section, that is gonna say, it's gonna identify illegal sumps.
Yep.
But if we get through this smoke testing meeting,
Mhm.
and then when the smoke test, let's say that smoke testing is done, it's only gonna take 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe. I'd say 3, let's give ourselves some room here. Because the goal is, Weston Sampson's goal is to start smoking the 9th. That's why
September.
I got a call them today. They want to meet with the public officials down here because the date is here. We could put it up on the screen. The maps are here. And I think they were just saying, fire, police. I think highway should be in with either
Yeah.
drain.
Mhm.
But rather than tie it up with a big public meeting, they will meet separately. They're gonna meet separately with the public, and I also wanted to meet, because schools will be in process then. They're gonna meet with the principals of the schools on their own to explain to them. And then I'm gonna line up meetings with them with nursing homes. I don't think places like Leisurewood, I don't know how we handle that. But like I said, the main thing today, it seems like we're all on the same page to continue with Weston Sampson. I would like to say, because I did stop them Friday, I'm gonna say just go with it now. Get the brochures to us, and tell us from now, just put it in your hands, okay, where do you want this to go? Give us an agenda. Because this is gonna happen fast.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be key is the public because they're gonna go, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And some people are gonna, some sources are gonna see smoke coming out of bathrooms.
Right.
So that's, we gotta get this out to say it's not to be alarmed.
And I would love to lend some assistance or help,
Yeah.
should you all want it. Like, I'd love to be involved in the conversation.
Yeah, you're gonna
because-
be there at the meetings
Yes.
and all that, for down all with Western Sampson as they go. The turnaround time for the data, if it's usual, I would say we could end it the end of September. We'll probably see the data probably December, because that's a lot to digest, because I'm gonna expedite it, because unlike smoke, which has gotta be done at the driest of times, dyeing has to be done at the highest of times. So if we're gonna jump on that, we're gonna jump on that right in the middle of May. I mean, it's April.
The dye testing.
Huh?
The dye testing. Did you just
Dye
say
testing, dye testing is just one. There's another thing they use, but I'm not familiar with that. Dye testing, I know they will do. Because dye testing goes into the sewer, and that definitely highlights illegal drains. And I'm not saying roof drains at that point.
Yeah.
I'm saying, well, if they have roof drains that may show smoke, they'll put dye on the roof, they'll get out.
Yeah.
But you'll pick it up in your town drain pipe. See, I think what they did in town, and again, it's hypothetical, when Rockland switched over to sewer, they already had drains in town. And I think possibly to save a penny here and there, they just ran roof drains and some drains right into, tied into sewer. Like that, I'll tell you that area that has gotta be looked at is off of Plain Street. Those older homes off of Plain.
All the old homes, granite.
Grove Street
foundations.
apartments, but I mean, those are things that are gonna be found out week come, but this is gonna morph into a very long, very busy project. But we cannot lose sight of Hingham Street. That has to take place no later than next year. If we gotta,
Gonna
And
work
that's
at
the plan,
nighttime.
that we
if we
can
gotta
start the
pause
design,
smoking,
bid and scope.
Hingham
And
Street
it-
has to be taken care of. It's a main line.
And the only way that's gonna happen is if we straddle the fiscal years.
You gotta do it at
We
nighttime
can,
or
we
daytime.
can start the design and the bid scopes and that now, but the actual construction and repair will take place next fiscal year.
Yeah, and
That's,
like I
that's
said,
how we
if
manage it,
Murphy
money. And
Murphy
then,
hits the rotary oscillator, the oscillator there, and it hits the fan. We have an emergency fund, we could jump on the pipe
yeah,
with that.
yeah. So what I'm saying is we have a big chunk, but we don't have enough to complete
Right.
the whole rehab.
But rather go in the
So we
red.
can kind of hold on to that chunk that will fill in if we do need to make some emergency repairs. And then we'll have the next fiscal year.
How many yards, how many feet get put down?
The smoke testing, this is why I'm saying, it's not, no small potatoes. It's gonna do 80% of the town.
I mean, the Hingham Street pipe, how much of that pipe's collapsed?
I think it's the last 6 feet. I don't recall. I wanna say it's the last 3 to 6 feet, and it's at Webster and Hingham, somewhere in that area. It's ovaled right now. It's egged out, which is,
Mhm.
So it's hours.
and that's the other reason I'm concerned. It's in a high traffic area.
Oh, very high.
That work would be done at night. But I'm gonna tell Wes this here, so when we get out of here, go expedite their itinerary to me no later than Wednesday morning.
How about the other side of Hingham Street? Remember when that woman had to flow into a house?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, she's cool. I don't want, let's
That
not,
was something
let's
else.
not,
Bringing back old
let's
injuries?
not screw up Chucky's old brain
So for the Hingham Street, you're gonna give the go-ahead for Western Sampson.
to do design.
start
They tell them to give
Yeah.
us the scope.
The design and the. and the
Design
bid
only.
services.
We'll hold that in contingency in case we'd have enough to cover that one repair. We wouldn't have enough to chase that I&I,
No,
but we're only talking, if we're lucky, this had 73,000 gallons. If we hit 48, 50,000 gallons, I'll jump through a hoop. And that's still not enough to give us capacity, remember, because
right.
our numbers are down, but we have not seen anything from Holy Family, Dyer, 365 Concord, 320 Concord, Manzella.
And that's why I think the inflow piece will be huge.
It will be
Smoke
huge.
testing and the inflow is where we're gonna
Well, the
recover
projects I just-
capacity.
Correct.
The projects I
Smoke
just
testing
mentioned,
and the inflow, yeah.
we're covered and we're reporting that. We only owe the EPA, what, 61,000 gallons?
So, yeah.
But they're gonna absolutely be shocked when we tell them that. They're gonna love the fact that it's only 61,000. Before it was like 800,000 gallons.
Yeah, so we're making progress.
That's why we don't wanna jump it and screw it up. We're coming so close. Okay, that's it. We're going to need Violia's assistance if we don't do that person ad, but I can pick up on that, the street work monitoring. I do wanna offer, and I put it in that letter, Tony and them, if they wanna have an on-site engineer, I don't care. They wanna look at peer review, I don't think they wanna go the expense of a peer review.
I don't get the sense, based on my conversation, that they're concerned about having anybody from Tetra Tech there or anything like that. I think that they're just, their initial
Feel like me, ooh.
reaction slash, it, their initial engagement with Tetra Tech was simply because of the difference in the price point of the scope
But
of
we
work.
we
That's
chopped a
all.
lot, see, they weren't even aware that we chopped a
Yeah,
lot
I don't
out of
think
that.
they knew that, so,
Because if the base had said, yeah, we're gonna give you the money, I was hoping to get it down to apples for apples and we could still do what we wanted to do. But I think this way here, honestly, is we're getting more than we wanted, more slanted towards the order as well. We're gonna find out exactly where we stand for inflow, or have a real good idea. But like I said, it's imperative that we tell people, because if they don't show up, this is gonna have to go on Facebook, it's gonna have to on your town website, our website.
yeah.
We're gonna have to have WRPS broadcasted. What Weston Sampson's is also putting a thing in the Patriot Ledger with phone numbers to contact and everything. The reason I wanted them to do it, Robbins can't handle a hotline, she's gonna be bombarded with calls,
No.
and dedicating a person to it.
Yeah,
And if they know that they can also publish my cell phone number if they have a question. Well, they can go to any wrestler and get my number.
it would be good to have a town interview, like you've done with the other departments,
Yeah.
so that it gets recorded on a YouTube channel.
Oh, that's what we're
Put
gonna
that
do,
on.
that's what we're gonna do,
Yeah.
that kickoff meeting, everything is gonna be,
But no, this is just a separate sit-down, question and answer, and you explain. the
you
whole
know what
process.
we're thinking of doing, Frank and I were talking about the media center up the high school.
We should do it through WRPS.
Throw it
Yes,
up
through
on that,
WPS.
tape it there,
Yeah,
and then let as many people come in and ask questions. I don't foresee a lot of questions in a public meeting coming from the people like E.T. Wright, Sandpaper, or the nursing homes. I'll meet with them with Frank one-on-one, I'm not worried about that. Those, I'm comfortable handling, but I'm gonna let Frank handle all that stuff, that's what they're being paid for.
but what's important is that we have something in place for those people and questions that come afterwards.
Oh, that's all in the
So you
brochure.
start, but you start with this, with these meetings, and then someone at the meeting says to their neighbor, oh, did you know about this? And they don't. They have a resource to go and hear it
There's a
firsthand.
3-page brochure coming in, and that's the benefit of the hotline, to field questions. And why we're going I wanted to go into the ledger, because it's gonna, let's say, you see red smoke coming in your house, you're gonna be really worried.
I'd say call the fire department.
Well, I don't want them calling the fire department.
That's right.
I do not want them calling the fire department. I
We
want
can
them
put it up on the website, and we can put it up on Facebook, and we
Yeah.
can put the brochure up there. We can even put in the the news little spotlight on the website, like a little warning, like, hey, smoke testing underway, or something like that.
You know what I would do if I were you?
Like, that's all possible. I just need all that information, and
Today's the
I'm happy
7th.
to help with that.
Today the 17th?
The 19th.
Oh, that's June.
We're on
August, okay, 19th. All right, let's shoot, probably let's shoot, I think it's gonna be too busy to get them now, but to shoot for the 26th department meeting and shoot for the 28th or 29th. If you could see if you could get the media center.
6th. Next Monday.
Next week.
Next Monday, I wanna get if I could do it faster with the town town boards will do it.
You mean the kickoff meeting or the interview with WRPS? What do you?
No, the kickoff meeting with fire, highway, and police.
Okay.
Then if we get, say, Wednesday or Thursday, if we get the media center for a public meeting, say, hey, look, here's what's gonna happen. Let them mobilize and get everything staged down here the Labor Day week, that's a short week, and hit the street Monday the 9th. It's just, they wanted me to pinpoint where I wanna start, and I don't know yet. I'm gonna let them pick it. My biggest concern is going to be traffic and school starting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
wherever,
First week,
Huh?
It's that first week in September.
yeah, school starts, I think,
I
next
know.
week.
Yeah.
Next
I
week,
know,
August.
that's a tough time to be.
Yeah, my daughter.
And the only thing that's
Disrupted.
gonna be tough is I'm gonna want them off of Union Street, between the hours of like, they can have Union Street as far as I'm concerned from 9 to 2. Then they gotta get off Union Street. So, but then I want another area they can go to, because I'm keeping them going till 5, 6 o'clock each night. That was one of the deals. I said, no 8-hour days. Because I don't know if we're gonna get a hellacious storm or what. And during heavy rains, they can't do it.
So Chuck, to clarify, do you want me to coordinate with police, fire, and highway?
Or
Or how would you like?
what I wanna
to
do is I
proceed
wanna
with
get
that?
their itinerary as to
Yeah,
when
okay.
Weston Sampson will be ready, because they're gonna have handouts for them as well.
Yeah.
Explaining, because I also wanted MSDS sheets prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so they'll have, if they can do that this week, great. If they can't, I'm gonna tell them, have it ready by Monday.
Okay.
It will be here, but if we can do it sooner, I'd rather do it here. I would say we set up the public next Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
If that could be, and I think the media center, I don't think we're gonna fill a town hall.
Yeah.
The
I
apathy
can-
in this town.
Yeah, I can reach out to Lisa and see if she can work with you on an interview of some sort the 28th or 29th, which is next week. I'm out of the office, my daughter starts school. So I'm
Well,
sorry.
the interview, I was gonna do an upgrade on everything. I'm just waiting on the final report. I might be able to do it.
Okay.
I'd rather get the smoke testing really behind us. I mean, if
Yeah.
people have any other questions on the smoke test, they're gonna
That's
be
what I
calling
meant.
that hotline, and I will be more than happy to meet with people one-on-one.
Okay.
I mean, if they got massive concerns, or if they got health issues, I mean, that's why I wanted the MSDS. So I'd be glad to meet with them get the households, get a free cup of coffee or tea out of them.
Yeah, right. Good luck.
So,
Okay.
just to clarify, Courtney, you're gonna help you set up the fire, police, and highway kickoff meeting for Monday, the
Yeah, I'll
26th.
see
I'll
if
get the
everybody's
itinerary from
around
my
on
Weston
Monday.
Sampson, I'll just give it to her, set that up down here.
Okay.
And they'll tell us what we need for the media, and I think this is best, we have all our maps, all our prints. I have the 15 zones all broken out, we have those maps. We have the streets
Yeah.
identified.
And then, for Wednesday or Thursday, we'll work
I'd like to do a
with
public
WRPS.
involvement meeting at the media center. I don't think
next
now,
one.
I don't
Yeah.
think that we need the high school auditorium. I
No.
don't think that many people
No,
will
I'm
show
sorry,
up.
no.
But if we do the media center, I'll do the introduction, and Weston Sampson can run with it.
Chuck, are you envisioning residents attending that, or are you
Yeah.
envisioning WRPS doing a pre-recorded thing that
Oh, they
could
could do it.
be,
They
that
could do a
could
re-
be done?
No, I
like
want RPS to
shared,
record it, that's already,
Yeah.
we're talking about recording it.
But have the public
But
there
I
as
want the
well.
public there to ask
Okay.
their own questions and say, hey, look,
Okay.
it's nothing to be worried about. Big fear is that we're gonna tell them that we're gonna disconnect their sump pumps. It could be furthest from the truth.
Yeah.
I would never do that to them. It would help, it's like that woman on North Ave, I have no problem going down, showing you how to connect it legally, so you don't have to spend money,
Right.
because there's ways, but.
Just running out in the streets, school
Yeah.
trains.
But a lot of people have, and it's convenient, they don't want ice going out in their driveway, they don't want ice going out in the street, I understand that. So they plug it into the washing machine.
Well, I run out to the backyard,
Yeah.
away from the house.
Yeah, but people need to know that as long as and there's nothing wrong, as long as it is 10 to 20 feet away from a foundation, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think if we can give them any kind of tools or guidance.
We'll
that
do it
would
a sub
be
pump
helpful.
program right after, because again, that's
Right.
part of the order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and the sump pump program will follow
Mm.
once this
and we
is-
can indicate that too in
Yes.
those comments, like, hey, there will be more follow-up on how you can have this disconnected at some point, like. but that's not the
Okay,
immediate.
where else were we? Okay, let's talk to generator. It was on the phone with Ray Pierce today. Ray Pierce today, I got my W's right for a change. We're gonna have a kickoff meeting for the generator on Tuesday, the 10th, at 10 o'clock, okay? I think this is
What day?
on Tuesday the 10th. Now, that was just gonna be between the electrical contractor, Wright Pierce, Viola, and myself. I invited Doug because he was interested in getting the funds and maneuver a few months ago. But I'm gonna ask the two of you. I think that should be an open public meeting because I think you guys have got to start weaning into this because right after that, if we get out of that 11, I'm having a facility upgrade meeting with the engineers and the design to explain where we are. I think it'd be good education at this point for you guys to sit in, seeing what's involved in it. The downside, that'll have to be an open public meeting, but it could be an open public meeting without questions at this time. But, because we will be bringing after that in an outside project manager. But I think starting off with the generator, knowing what's involved on the ground level with that, so you can get a little bit of a grasp of what's gonna be involved when this facility upgrade hits. 'Cause that's right, remember, we're in the process, once we bring in that outside project manager, it's go. We do a Pontius pilot, but it's go, it doesn't mean it stops here. The other thing, the UST was removed. The ground was broken Tuesday, the UST was removed Thursday. The tank is pristine.
Thank
The soil was immaculate.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what Del Pratt and I both said. I went out and looked at that, and I didn't believe him. I grabbed a fistful of soil and I couldn't smell anything, which is
You're lucky.
huge,
Yeah.
mega lucky.
You should see what they did my.
So I sent out a letter to Mass DEP today in response to I followed up on the non-compliance. I sent them another letter today saying the tank came out, preliminary indications are that it's pristine and we're waiting the lab data. I should have the lab data the end of middle of next week. So that's that off the bat. Megan just came up to SCADA. The SCADA system is been misreporting flows. So I picked up on it 3 weeks ago, showed it to Jesse. Evidently, Rick had known about it, had got some quotes on it, and the transition between him and Megan got lost in the month of July. They are aware of it. There is backups that we could do calculations to get our realistic flows. I don't think the flows are anything that's going to dramatically impact the results that we have been reporting. But right now, I can tell you that 1.89 million gallons a day discharge is not right after a rainy weekend. So they're aware of it, they know what's wrong, so Megan's working on that. The other thing, there is a pipe in the sludge discharge room that has found a crack and clogging. The SCADA system is probably gonna run us $7,000. The pipe that they found in the back is gonna run us another $6,000. So that's OM&M and due to age. What was the last thing I had?
School ball
Can
field.
I ask a question?
This ball field at the school.
Ball field at the school. I got a call from Sean Burke, from the PMA developers who built the school. Because remember that meeting that a neighbor in the park department complained about the flooding, which is right, there was 18 inches of water back there. It's over a sewer manhole. They took out that sewer, that drain pipe, Alyssa, but I don't think they just said, well, the water's gonna go where it is. It came up to the surface, which is why the drain pipe was connected. I gave them, and I sent out, and they responded. So I sent a letter to Doug and said to Doug and Rich Penny saying I had a meeting conversation with them, they're up to speed. After I sent it, I figured out we may be all right. Here's why I'm saying that. That was a new manhole, and that was a new pipe they put in. When they put these things in under regulations, they gotta do pressure testing and vacuum testing. So what I am gonna accept this, what I would accept the corrective action is if they, I said, go to the clerk of the works, who was the outside project manager, get me the vacuum test results, the pressure test results. If they come back sound, then that manhole cover is tight now. It's the only thing I'd have to look into. Did they do it with a rubber gasket and bolt down cover? That way they're, okay, that's it. What should have happened with that field, and we had these conversations with a gentleman named Jackson, with all that excess soil they had from all the construction, instead of carting it away, they could have regraded that outfield to the pine, to what I call the right field pine grove, raised it 3 feet. They found the pipe, just naturally let the water go out that way. Because now we're kind of screwed, because you have the AstroTurf. That became an impermeable barrier. So all that water is running off back and down to the fields. They're complicating facts there. They put the playground in. So it's just a myriad of things that built up from that. But I'm telling them that I think your sewer system is fine. We're good. But if they want to rectify it, they have to. I think they should grade it. But that's not a cheap cost. It would have been cheaper if they did it when the soil was there. But nobody wanted. Obviously, they didn't want to listen.
Where they put the soil at the,
Well, the reason I didn't like putting up that raised manhole, I told IK, said, if you're going to do that, I suggest you rotate the field 2.5 degrees. If you rotate the 2.5 degrees, given that leg of the triangle, that would have put that manhole 8 feet in foul, 8 to 10 feet in foul territory. As it is now, it's right on the foul line. And I coached Little League in here this year for 15 years in that field. And I know darn right well, you're going to get some 11, 12-year-old that's going to go bonkers and run into it, and we're going to get a broken hip. So, anyway, that's where that is. I just wanted to bring you up to speed. We're still good for Thursday. Agenda is sound, tight. If you want to attend that generator meeting, I need to know, because I'm going to put it in a public meeting. You don't have to let me know today. You let me know the 10th.
when's
Yes.
this generator thing?
It's going to be the Tuesday, the 10th. I think it'd be a good learning curve for you.
Yeah, I might go.
I think it'd be a good
I used to
learning
work
curve.
on it at work once in a while.
Well, again, we're going to go into the facility meeting. You can stick around for that, and I'll put that on the agenda. And if you're not going to stick around for that, I'll just say that's a secondary meeting. But I think it'd be a great learning curve for you guys to see where we are.
I had to find a doctor next week anyways.
Well,
My doctors all left me.
as long as it's not the mortician, you're good.
You know, County Hospital closed up, that's it.
I don't want to tie you up, but the only thing we got left is bill coding.
Right, I already
They
talked to
told
Rob
me-
and I'll take care of
That's
that.
all my doctors.
I think we can
Up the
adjourn.
road.
No,
Yeah,
Don't
next
you
week
have
I
a
am in
vote?
Philadelphia.
Okay,
We
I'm
just
gonna-
set up a whole lot of stuff going
Who
on.
goes?
Okay, I want to take a vote that we confirm our meeting to confirm Weston Sampson doing the
I make the motion.
smoke testing. Got the motion, do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
yes.
And I'm a yes. Does that need another vote? No.
no, that's the vote you need.
No.
That's what we need.
Do we need to vote to proceed with the design and bid services
Well,
for I&I?
I think we did that, didn't we?
No, that was kind of tabled till we
Because of
resolved
this,
vote.
okay, then I'm gonna make a motion myself that I think it's in the best interest of Rockland and the sewer system to split the infiltration work, do the engineering work, fiscal year 25, the emergency repairs to Hingham Street, and the I&I removal in fiscal year 26.
I
Second,
make second.
I have a second. All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
yes.
And I am a yes. But, Sherry, we need to make sure we just, if Murphy hits law hits us, we can't let Hingham Street go down.
Understood.
No.
I can't think of anything else right now. Big thing is on the discussion on the adding a body for the street work to work that would be working with the superintendent. We proposed we talked about a lot of the Veolia always gives us a body to go out in the field to do stuff like that. Way it's taken away from the plant. Our contract is for 8 people. We have 8.5 on staff. They do. I approached Megan and Jesse about, you know what, maybe we should take on a full body, a 9th person, to dedicate to the collection system, the smoke test and all that. and it's not to free me up, but the big thing would be freeing up the superintendent to do the administrative work and to find grants. Get out and find us money. So we met with I met with Veolia, and I asked him, I said, this is what we would like to do, and there's a couple of ways we can approach this. We can come to a contract amendment, which you have to agree to, I'm talking to Veolia, that we drop a staff person to 7.5 and create a street person working for the town. If they add a person, then they're adding their overhead, they're adding all kinds of stuff, not just their bennies. We take an hourly rate, we add 40% for bennies, we're good. They're gonna have profits and everything like that. So I guess where that has morphed into, they broke the news to the guys this morning that we're gonna eliminate a body. And I said, no, they called, one of them called me and said, no, we're not doing that. Let me get through this, it's all preliminary, I'll talk to Megan, I just did, made her aware of it. But I think that body on the street would be huge.
Well, I think it's very beneficial to have somebody always available.
It's not just that, I'm saying, the time he's down, we could give him the IPP program to run with,
Oh,
again,
yeah.
bring him up. But the big thing, have him pop in manholes without having to do studies. Find out where
Right.
the infiltration is.
Right.
Showing up, oh, that's the other thing, this thing is going to be, that work at Western Sampson is going to be GIS maps, it's going to be another layer. That was another plus.
Yeah.
So I'm all winded out. That's where we are. That's where we're gonna go. I've asked for a meeting with Courtney and Allison, when Allison gets back, to see where we're gonna go with us, how we wanna interact with them. They need to speak with the developers. But I just want them aware of our concerns with developers watching the chicken coop. I mean, we are so close right now.
All right, take care.
Yeah, and we're definitely open, we want to meet and all be working coordinated and collaboratively together, like that's how we can advocate for the best from these development teams for Rockland. So
Right.
I want to work with the
You're right,
commission and
Yeah, definitely.
I
Please.
want, and Allison's position is new here, and planning generally is the coordinator role in a lot of these conversations, and so I think part of it is just a learning curve for everybody
I
involved.
think it was, and
Figuring
I
out
apologize
like
for
how
coordinating.
we approach these conversations in a more collective, coordinated, collaborative way. So I welcome that. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for having me here today.
No, you're
like I said,
we meet
my-
every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Will
open.
you be joining?
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
don't need
and
an invitation.
Yeah, I mean, and
That's why
I will
he's
do my best to come maybe more often to these, and to just have a little bit more open dialogue with you, Chuck, and Sherry. I mean, we've had a lot of conversation over the course of
Yeah,
the
we
past
discuss
couple of
everything at
months.
these meetings.
Yeah.
I'd like to say we could throw an open agenda, but they won't let us do that.
Yeah,
We have to put them down.
yeah. But like my goal really here is to make sure that like I'm
Representative.
advocating for what I
Better
believe
the
to be
town.
the best for the town, and so.
No, and you need to advocate for the developers, and I understand that.
Well,
My
it's, it's both.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
because I want the development team to support what our needs are in the community, and so I want to have a good working relationship with them. And so, when I do talk to them, I feel like, they are transparent with me and they are able to communicate with me as long as we're all communicating together, like collaboratively.
One of the biggest things they're gonna probably be helpful on, I don't know if they're gonna wanna see, to me, if you contribute, you want something, base is a unique situation. But the biggest thing, that's why I can't wait to get this outside project manager on, because I am gonna you brief me up
Right.
once a month on
Then
the
we can focus on
upgrade,
this.
and I wanna focus on secondary disposal methods, like groundwater disposal. We cannot build a new plant. I mean, but groundwater disposal is a viable option. And
Some of the other
I have
alternative options.
IMI in Heston Field.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
the best bet.
And I think, like, just to reiterate, like, my understanding of the base's approach to this is they would like and are still, like, supportive of these efforts around inflow investigation and want to support us, but I am going to leave that conversation with Attorney Galvin and Attorney Sullivan to work out, like, what that looks like, but I generally got the sense that they're still supportive of the inflow investigation work and are not worried about which
Does
firm
it.
does it.
That's
They just
great.
want it to
That's
happen.
great.
They want
Yeah.
the inflow investigation
That's
to
a
happen
great burden
with
off
a
our shoulders.
focus on like the inflow piece because they know that that is the most impactful.
And one of the things I promised Tony at our last meeting was that I have no problem sharing data with you. I'm gonna send them all our I&I reports and all. They're
Right.
public
It's all
record
public
anyway.
record.
Right.
Save them the effort of putting in public record requests and data.
They don't even, yeah.
But, you know.
And I don't think that's a concern of theirs. I think their concern is honestly to just like help Rockland to do this work because in order for them to be able to continue to do some of their work, like it would be helpful for us to be working on some of these other issues.
There is just one thing I've gotta get off my chest with it. I don't want them, and I'm hoping I'm gonna explain it clearly.
Yeah.
They need field data to keep their projects ongoing. All I don't want them is, I do not want them doing is take any data and stretching it to a point that that I have, we say, no, that's not what's gonna happen. I want them to be factual, and especially in these MEPA filings. That's why I didn't comment on the second MEPA filing. I should have commented on the Abington flow, which I do not wanna do, and the stormwater, which I don't wanna do. That's not my nickel right now. Abington is, but I think let a sleeping tiger lie till they go. But I don't want them running with the smoke data and misleading anybody, because I don't know when we could get to it financially. They may say, hey, you know what? Here's $500,000. Go after it.
That started taking.
But that's risky because it's private property. I don't know how that's gonna shake out. But if they want to do the confirmation sampling, the testing, we're gonna need help with that. And just so you know, if you wanna tell them, if case I neglect to, there's 15 hours that I had built in there for them to contact Weston Sampson. So we don't have to ask them for more money on that.
Yeah, I don't think
That, no, we had asked them for 15 grand to begin with,
Okay.
and we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's already built into Weston Sampson's price.
Okay.
I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
Motion.
Good.
Second.
Done. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Was anybody for the You've been gone so
I
long.
could be wrong, and I know you're looking at the school next door for a secondary system, but I think the school department's looking to put the childcare next door.
We-
All right.
Yeah.
And that would require building an additional building, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
They
okay.
are.
Why,
well,
they could go up front.
No, I
Building.
can speak to this very briefly because we brought it up at the select board meeting this last week. But the daycare is exploring a potential modular building for the Eston school site to house. The school department is exploring a modular building for the daycare
Like Great
that
Lakes.
may be placed
Like-
at the Eston school site. But they are very preliminary, they have not done any site work
So,
or
Silver
engineering.
Lake, same thing as Silver Lake.
Okay, but just so, we don't need to go into details on it,
Yeah.
but just so you know, if you read the CWMP,
Yeah,
the only cost-effective Rockland site is the ball field behind Eston for a secondary groundwater discharge.
okay.
That's the only area other than the base.
Behind this,
Behind.
yeah, okay.
And the base will not, because that and the base won't allow it, Navy regs. I would love for them to push the base, but I don't think they can because of all the PFAS that's in that area, in Rockland area. But that is the only
That's the
viable
only
source,
other viable
cost-effective source. And that, even then, it being cheap at today's at 2022 dollar was $36 million.
And was that behind the site
Behind
and
the site.
not on the existing site?
behind.
So
What we
they're
would do
looking at
is-
something on the existing Eston school site.
Yeah, but is it
Like
It's not
behind?
behind it
The
actually.
drive running up.
It's in the drive running up.
See, but
That's what they're looking
As
at
long as
right now.
space, yeah.
But that will require different engineering, site work,
Plumbing.
variances, plumbing, sewer. Like, it will require all that, and we are very preliminary, and we have not had
You
that
want
discussion.
to
yet.
make a coup? You want to elevate yourself to a throne in this town? Del Pratt's Farm, grab it. He's sitting on a gold mine. I'd hate to see it. I'd hate to see that go. I grew up with that place. I
Who was
played
that?
on it. But boy, think of what we could build here. A planter, a humongous groundwater disposal site there. But that is primo development.
Oh, the cows will be gone.
I could eat them.
I'm just gonna,
Go ahead, keep going.
Also,
just a little.
last week, do you guys know that the police station phone lines were down?
Yeah,
Yes.
No,
yeah.
Okay. Information didn't get out to the people. I just found out
I
about
got it.
today. How did
And
you
I got a
know?
flip phone, yeah, flying
I,
time.
I posted it on the
I
Facebook
didn't
page
get
for
it.
the
Yeah, it was
town.
on Facebook.
It was on the town
and
Facebook
I think we
page.
got it.
I
I
got
think
it on
if
the
you're on
telephone, I
the
don't
email
have Facebook,
notifications.
nothing.
Yeah,
for the
but
town.
people aren't getting notified by a lot of stuff that's going on.
They don't have to
I
notify.
didn't know. I didn't get it on my house phone on myself.
That's up to General Dynamics to notify people.
Yeah.
Not else, not from Verizon. Verizon gave.
No, but the town should notify people through several different means,
What?
so it gets to as many people as
It's
Well,
possible.
that's why I thought we had the
Dynamics.
reverse 911.
Yeah,
Huh?
Yeah.
yeah, reverse.
I thought that's what the fire department, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scott,
911?
he's the safety director.
Yeah, but the notification doesn't get out to the people.
Jack,
'cause
I'll
I don't
take
get
all your,
phone.
I'll take all your feedback anytime
And I-
about town
So
communications.
what I'm gonna say about the
anytime.
smoke testing, we should think about putting some signs around town, whether they're similar
When
to
the smoke
the.
tested.
Well,
the smoke testing.
just so you know, every neighbor in the zone is gonna get a mailing, is gonna get a handout.
Mailing.
But I would still put something, because, you know, a lot of those things they just throw out.
Yeah, well,
You know, put them out so people drive by.
You can
and say-
only lead people so much of putting them, they're gonna get a knock on the door. They're gonna get a mailing directly to them. There's gonna be handouts available. They're gonna be on WFA. I mean,
Yeah.
We can put
we
it on the
post it at the
sign.
library and the.
oh, you can put it on the
Sign.
radio, the electric sign.
Electric
Post it
sign
at the
in front of town
library.
hall. As soon as I have a schedule, I can send that to
Yeah,
Jack.
let me work out the ground,
Everything, yeah.
right now. Now, I'm gonna be on the phone all afternoon with this, so let me just get this going. I'm psyched about getting it going. I'm looking to kick off that the 9th. So there's a lot that's gotta happen between now and then.
Also, if you're successful identifying roof drains and whatever, that water's gotta go into the storm drains. They're undersized in the town.
Yes, I know that. That's gotta go into, that's what I'm saying. This is not gonna be a cheap deal.
No.
Even if, not gonna be
It'll
cheap,
be
it's not gonna be
coordinated.
cheap for the property owner who's gotta do it immediately, because it's against state law. But we gotta give
Right.
them a reasonable amount of time. We can't say, hey, you're going out and spend $100,000 or
But
$10,000.
The town storm drains, and also the trenches through people's property, they're not big enough.
No, that may be, but you know what, this
We gotta start
is
with
gonna
that.
morph into a lot more. That's what I'm saying, when you look at a smoke testing or inflow is not an overnight result. It's gonna it's not gonna get ugly, it's gonna be very enlightening, but it's gonna be very costly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, inflow and infiltration. Infiltration, you can find quicker, you can go after, and it's cheaper. Inflow is exponentially more expensive, but a longer return.
Mm-hmm.
And private property, well, unfortunately, they're gonna afford to build the, sewer can't afford municipal buildings, so I can guarantee you the library's hooked up. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah.
McKinley.
Huh? I can guarantee you that.
Fire
Okay.
department, library,
I guarantee you, fire department, I can guarantee you,
Lincoln
Rockland
School.
Trust,
yeah,
Lincoln School.
the old Pilgrim building there, across the street, where they have their offices.
yeah.
You know, people are gonna flip, but you're gonna have to give them time. End the meeting, I wanna go home.
We did end the meeting.
Re-enter, motion to adjourn.
I motion.
I second.
All right, I'm gonna tell Frank, get that can kicked down the road.
Yeah.